Welcome to a new edition of Spinistry Chat. Today we're talking about the weather is always a factor member benefit. Definitely here at Spinistry, we're kind of notorious for doing things differently, a little bit out of the box, so to speak. Last year we started switching over our business model to a membership-based platform model, more so than tied specifically to event fees. The idea we're trying to put together is that a $75 a year membership gets Club Spinistry members free access to almost all of our single day events throughout the year. I know it's kind of a funky approach and different from what pretty much everyone else does, but we think it's a good fit for the folks that are into the types of rides we do, the adventures we do. It's not for everyone, but for those that it is for, it's a really good fit. Now, one of what we recognize potential benefits of this membership model was going to be this most recent Texas chainring massacre really paints a good picture of how that benefit comes into play. And that's what this particular episode is about. We always say weather is always a factor, but we also learned a super long time ago that you can't rely on the forecasts. You have to wait till it happens to know for sure that it happens. Going into this year's Texas chainring massacre, we knew we had one section that was likely to be muddy if we had significant rains. But we also knew it would be assuredly adventurous without rains and potentially with rains as well. We identified the section ahead of time, let folks know alternate routes if they wanted to be sure to stay away from the mud. During the riders meeting, we gave tips to folks that maybe didn't have experience riding in the mud in these kind of conditions. And we even, provided some mud cleaning tools and supplies for folks that might want to have that with them. Frankly, we left this potentially muddy section in the routes because people need to learn how to ride things like that. You can make a point to not ride when it's raining or not ride when it's muddy, or try to put together a route that doesn't ever get any mud involved. But particularly if you're doing multi-day rides or bike packing or point-to-point rides, there's going to be times that you run into muddy conditions and you have to know how to deal with them. Experience is what sets you up for success. And quite frankly, that's one of our main focuses with Spinistry rides and Spinistry events. We're happy to be that bridge that gets people from a current skill set to that next level. We've put together many of our rides and our events as primers, as tutorials on how to do something like the Tour Divide, Unbound Gravel, whatever else is out there. Yes, we have some epic rides of our own, but we recognize that for many people, that's just a bridge to get to what's ultimately on their bucket list. And we're happy to provide that bridge. When I was working on this membership model, one of what I thought would be the biggest benefits to the members is the no sunk cost benefit. Now, I've experienced this myself where I've signed up for an event, got $150 in entry fees or whatever. At some point it's like, well, you've got hotel rooms involved or whatever else. You've got sunk costs. You've got an investment in the event and conditions are less than ideal. Sure, one school of thought is just tough it out. There's nothing wrong with that school of thought. But there's another school of thought of, sure, I've got $500 in gasoline, hotel room, and entry fees, but I'm about to do $1,000 of damage to my bike. Where is that sunk cost? Everybody's going to evaluate that differently. What we see as at least a benefit on the Club Spinistry model is we're not pressuring people to do what they don't want to from a monetary standpoint. If you want to tough it out and go ride in mud, fantastic. Please do that. Not gonna knock it. But in turn, if you have no interest whatsoever in riding in the mud, and I can definitely understand that lack of interest, at least you're not going to feel obligated by your entry fees. If you want to pull the plug the morning, if you just wake up in the morning, I'm not feeling it today, fantastic. We're not going to pressure anyone to do what they're not comfortable with from a fitness standpoint, a skill standpoint, or just a peace of mind standpoint on abusing their equipment. Going into Saturday morning of the Texas Chainring Massacre, we had rains overnight. Basically, we had 50% no-shows, which was right in line with what we were expecting based on the experience from 2023 with this membership model. Definitely, we found weather is a factor for attendance rates. And back in the day, before we went to this membership model, if we had a muddy day like this, or rains came the night before, maybe there's a 25% no-show rate, maybe 30% if it's really, really bad. 50% with bad weather in the mix, I understand it, and it really came in right at what we were expecting. And that's why in year 2 of this membership model, we're taking our findings from year 1 and making sure it works for a long-term solution going forward. And with our biggest event of the year, the Texas Chainring Massacre, we had over 600 signups. We had a little over 300 that actually showed up. And there was no surprise to that based on the actual weather that came across. It's right for some people to ride in this weather, in these conditions. It's right for some people to pass. The membership model allows you to make that decision that best suits your needs. But in turn, in a way, it allows us to go the other direction as well. If we have an open weekend, could even be a weeknight, hypothetically speaking, and fantastic weather pops up, or maybe there's a major event somewhere else that is having bad weather, or something goes sideways on that, and we have an open weekend. With the membership model, it allows us the flexibility to do pop-up rides and membership rides and things like that with short notice. And quite frankly, we're doing it tomorrow. We're doing what we call a Club Spinistry Hoot Nanny ride. Hoot Nanny for party, but we've kind of taking it out to hoot and nanny. Hoots for the wise and experienced riders, nannies for those that are needing support. We kind of put those together. And if there's experienced riders that want to go out there and set a tempo and practice race pace, fantastic. You go out there and do that. If there's other experienced riders that want to go out there and do their own thing, but help the newer riders learn some stuff along the way, we put them together. Everybody has a good time. And it's a semi-organized ride. You know, the membership insurance, the membership basis, the membership communication group, it just allows us the flexibility to throw things together on the fly or last minute, or just stuff that's cool. We've got almost a once-in-a-lifetime event coming through Texas on April 8th, an amazing total eclipse. We've put together a Club Spinistry total eclipse ride day, but it's actually a camp out. The eclipse comes through on a Monday. Quite frankly, the state of Texas is going to be bonkers because people are traveling from all over the world to get into the path of totality. We have a campground reserved on the edge of a lake. That's our plan A. If it looks like skies are clear there, hey, we're going to do this. But we also have a plan B further north, a plan C further south. We'll chase the clear skies, and hopefully it all works out where we can do a group camp out and barbecue and beer fest and bike ride on Monday, April 8th. Our goal, quite frankly, is to offer some sort of event, ride, special something or other for Club Spinistry members 3 weekends a month, potentially more. Basically, every other month we do a North Texas gravel grinder that's open to the public, but Club Spinistry members get into those free. Every other month, every other month for North Texas, however that works, we go to Central Texas and do a public event ride as well. But then we also try to do things like the Hoot Nanny rides, the pop-up rides, the Total Eclipse of the Heart, Camp Out Weekend, Spinistry Palooza, bike packing trips. We try to do all of that so that there's always something going on that's going to suit somebody's needs. We don't expect anyone to show up for all of them. Our goal is when you have the time and we have something that tickles your fancy, we can all get together and have a good time. So again, short story is 3 weekends a month, at least. We have something for the Club Spinistry members, weather permitting, because as we like to say, weather is always a factor.